Why hello there YouTube, it's Nuclear Weasel here bringing you another deck tech. This one is my favorite modern deck ever. I keep looking at other modern decks going, that looks really fun. No, I cannot stress it enough that this is my favorite deck and I just love playing it and will never go away from it. It's the only reason I haven't built other modern decks. Without further ado, we'll begin it. For Modern Affinity, one of the best decks in all of Modern, I've seen people play 4, I've seen people play 3, but 2 Mem Knights for me is just right. The Goldilocks number is 2. Just right. That's pretty much it for the Mem Knights. I mean, that's all they really are, is 0-drop 1/1s. And then you have your 4 Ornithopters. Obviously, Ornithopter's awesome. 0-drop flyer, which you install artifact, and now it's a 5/5 flyer. Pretty sweet. Or you just fly, equip cranial plating, good stuff. Onto the 1-drops. Alright, 1-drop creatures. 4 Signal Pest. I've seen people play 2, 3 of these, but 4 is really, really good, because if you start playing more than just one of them, they quickly add up, very, very quickly. And they just start smashing your opponent's face in fairly easily and fairly quickly. And that's it for the 1s. There are no more 1-drops in the deck. Well, I don't know if you can count this as a 1-drop, but Vault Scourge, 1 Phyrexian, 1 colorless, flyer, lifelink, really good. Equipping cranial plating to this is also really good, or installing artifact to this is also really good, because it's a 5/5 flyer with lifelink now. It's still really good. But yeah, very, very good card. I've seen this card get killed many, many times because it's the most important card to kill because it has lifelink. And for the last 2-drop of the deck, or well, creature, is Arcbound Ravager. One of the scariest cards to ever see hit the board, because this card gets out of hand very, very, very quickly. All your cards that are useless to you, like an extra Mox Opal, can now be sacked to turn into a 1/1 counter, or your thing that's getting bolted can be sacked and put a counter on something, or multiple Springleaf Drums that you don't need. It's just very, very quickly adds up and just puts him out of range of bolt, and then your bigger dude, it makes your dudes bigger, and maybe your Ink Moth next is a lethal kill. So, Arcbound Ravager is sweet, sweet card. And then we have the weird part of the deck is 4 mainboard Edge Champion. I cannot stress enough how much Edge Champion really, 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 how good he is. Once he hits the board, the only thing that can really deal with him easily is Tron, because everything in their deck is colorless as it is. But if you don't counter it and it resolves, no bolt, no path, nothing could ever get rid of it, because nobody really has mainboard artifact hate. They die to an Edge Champion most of the time, and it's really, really easy to die to an Edge Champion. Throwing a cranial plating on it is just awesome. But yeah, Edge Champion is definitely, I will never go down on 4, because it's just too powerful. And that's it for the creatures. Then we go into the, I almost want to say, on the unchangeables, the guaranteed every deck. 4 Mox Opals, and the 4 Springleaf Drums. 4 of each, never any of less, or any less than 4. Never. This is where it kind of gets weird, is like I play 3 Install Artifacts, because those were the 0 and 1s. The 2-drops I play Install Artifacts and Cranial Plating. I like 3 Install Artifacts because, well, turning a Citadel into a 5/5 flyer, or maybe a Ornithopter, just turning it all, or well, 5/5 Indestructible is really cool too. But turning all your artifacts into now usable things is really, really cool. So, yeah, definitely a sick, sick card. And then for the non-permanents, I play 4 Galvanic Blasts because Galvanic Blast is awesome, and 3 Thoughtcasts, considering that your whole deck is artifacts, so you're almost always able to cast this. If you have blue, that is. If you don't have blue, then this card is really, really, really dead to you fairly, fairly quickly. And I hate it when it's in my hand and I don't have blue and I just have enough to cast it 6 times. But hey, you can't always have the perfect hand. That's it for the spells. And now for the lands. The pretty basic island. 3 Glimmer Voids. I've seen people play 4. Doesn't really matter. If you want to go up in your land count, that's perfectly fine. I find myself drawing too much sometimes. 3 Glimmer Void. Perfect card. You don't really have to worry about it. 4 Darksteel Citadel. Duh. I'm a popular guy. 4 Blinkmoth Nexus and 4 Inkmoth Nexus. I've seen people ask why run both. Well, because they're artifact lands. You can animate them to Pump Cranial Plating, or animate them to sack them to Arcbound Ravager, or, well, just kill them with Infect, and Blinkmoth is a flyer, Inkmoth is a flyer, kill them with Infect, kill them with damage and flying. These can't be blown up because they're lands. So, I mean, yeah. No Abrupt Decay, no Oblivion Stone. They dodge them. They can't actually be killed on your turn. I mean, bolts, sure, but that's pretty much it. And that's it for the lands. Onto the sideboard. 1 of Dismember against those Goyf decks. You can't really beat Goyf in a sense, so you might as well just get rid of it. Mainly Delver, Rug decks, stuff that has really big butts. Abzan is also a really good choice to bring it in against. Just gotta kill all their big butt stuff. Wear and Tear for the mirror match. And, well, just about anything that plays artifacts like Tron or enchantments. Just using this to get rid of their lockdown is really good. Whip Flare against anything that doesn't play artifacts is really good. Like, this is your own Pyroclasm that does not even touch you. So, Delver, Zoo, I mean, not other Affinity decks, but, I mean, honestly, Whip Flare just gets rid of the whole board for you. Ancient Grudge, also mirror match. Tron, same thing. Same thing as Wear and Tear. You bring it in against those. Stuff you have to worry about, artifacts. 2 Relics against the Tassiger decks, the Delvers, and people that play Snapcaster. It's really good, and like Blue Tron is making a comeback, which we'll see that's gonna earn itself a lot of hate soon. Tron is definitely a contender right now, and Relic, it kind of shuts down Blue Tron, it shuts down Tassiger, and it shuts down Tarmogoyf. So, really good stuff. Torpor Orb against the Abzan decks. You want to bring it in against the pods. I mean, because Podless Pod is still a thing, so you kind of want to use this against Siege Rhinos, Kitchen Finks, Murderous Redcap, you know, the stuff like that when it triggers, when it enters the battlefield. Spellskite Burn, obviously. Spellskite and, like, Boggles, it's also really good to use against. Pretty much a modern staple in sideboards, considering how versatile it can be. And then when you're on the play, 3 Thoughtseize to make sure that your win is almost guaranteed. Taking 2 life really isn't that big of a deal to you if you're ripping something out of their hand that can just ultimately win them the game, like a Vandal Blast or a, I don't know, Creeping Corrosion, whatever they play. But you want to rip their artifact hate out of their hand as soon as possible. Well, that's about it. That's my Affinity list. It mirrors. It is actually the exact same list as Jason Coe's, who won a Modern IQ in Dallas a few months ago. I know him personally, and I took his advice and built his list. And my sideboard is a little bit different. Yeah, it's different. I personally really like where Affinity sits right now in this meta. I mean, Tron's making a comeback, which will allow for a lot of sideboard hate to come back in and knock it back out down to tier 3. So I'm not worried all that much about it. It's the new Delver decks that you really have to worry about, which this deck already has a really good matchup against as it sits. I've won like 6 sets against Grixis Delver, which is the most popular Delver deck right now. So, I mean, Affinity is really well situated in this format. It doesn't have any really bad matchups until after side. So, anyway, thank you for watching. Please rate and subscribe. Comment below. Leave me any constructive or deconstructive criticism. I enjoy both. And as always, have a very nice day.